Hi, I'm Brinda, and this is my response to discussion 10, Magic, Witchcraft, and Religion. So part A, I read the article Death Be Not Strange. Two specific views of death for the Barawan, I hope I'm saying that right. One of the things I saw was that they didn't think of death as a moment in time, but they thought of it as a transformation, which I thought was really interesting. So the article mentioned that the soul is not perfect or like good enough to go to the afterlife as soon as the body dies, which is why it takes some time for like the body to kind of like metamorphosize or transform. And the death practice would be the 4-stage funeral ritual, where basically the corpses are stored for a long time while they decompose, and that gives the soul enough time, or the spirit enough time, to go into the afterlife and get ready to go like make its journey past physical life. The second view that I thought was interesting was the fact that the Barawan people were very scared of spirits getting into corpses and reanimating these corpses, which I thought was very interesting. They were very worried about evil spirits or like souls coming back into dead bodies, and the practice for that is they take like certain protective measures during funerals. Like one of them tying like a coffin lid of the corpse with rattan bands, which was like thought to protect them. And another, like, not really ritual, but another cultural behavior would be getting very worried or panicked when there are like unusual or weird sounds near a corpse area. As for A2, like how do they differ from American culture? I would say definitely through American culture has a habit of embalming, which is like, sorry, like I'm spacing out, but it's like processing the body or like making the body look or maintaining its appearance, because in funeral processions we want to give respect for the corpse and like for their family who's probably seeing them for the last time. We don't want the body to decompose, so we like there's a whole embalming process. But for the Barawan people, it's quite the opposite, and they find embalming to be very disturbing. And in the article, the anthropologist was describing the embalming process to them, and they were like horrified. They didn't know that was a thing, and the injecting chemicals in the face and whatnot, I think it was very strange and out of the ordinary for them. So that would be one of the ways that it differs, is like we have an emphasis on embalming. Okay, part B, TED Talk. I watched the TED Talk Life That Doesn't End in Death, or End with Death, by Kelly Swayze. And two things I learned. One of them was, again, similar to how in the Barawan culture, death was not a final, like, one moment situation. This also taught me that dead people, it's not an immediate, like, death is not an immediate or a final state of being. In fact, after the body physically dies, the Torahan culture, they continue to care for their deceased loved ones, and they see dead people as like sick until the family is able to provide them a proper funeral service, which I thought was very interesting. And the person stays like a part of their household. They're still fed and they're still cared for. They're still maintained as a part of the house, which is very interesting. Another thing I learned was that like the relationship people have with loved ones doesn't end as soon as they die, kind of relating back to number 1. But like these people in this culture would maintain their relationships by like feeding these people, caring for them every day, and also performing rituals to honor their deceased or sick loved ones, which was very interesting. And then how can I apply what I learned? So this video was very interesting to me, and it really made me, like, it opened my eyes to how different and very like extraordinarily, like, I've never heard of this before. So it opened my eyes to how different cultures can grieve and like take the concept of death and mourning compared to Americans or my specific culture. And one thing I can do or apply is I can definitely be more aware of how certain cultures grieve and how certain cultures mourn their deceased loved ones. Thank you.